That was the...
BJ Novak.
That's right.
That was easily one of the best movies. I really, and I'm not being... It's one of the best movies I think I've seen.
It's been getting a lot of really good
reviews.
It is
so well done. And
but I also didn't hear anything about it.
No, but have you heard about anything lately, though, this year? Like the promotion?
True.
It's Masked Singer. Masked Singer has all the money. They're promoting everything.
We also just don't have normal TV.
No,
so
we don't.
Get normal. If it doesn't have an ad on
if it doesn't,
YouTube or Snapchat, I don't see it anymore.
If it has ads, Bri's not fucking with it.
No.
So I want everybody to know, because
I'm in the majority here.
Okay, but maybe we should see it a little bit from my point of view. Only on Below Deck am I like, yes, Bri, because listen, guys, you guys picture this. You're 10 years old. It's the 90s. Life is good still.
Oh, it's different then.
Shut up. Shut up. I am talking. Life is good still. You're in dinosaur pajamas. Mom just made that fucking, like, what is that snack tray thing that the moms used to make us?
I don't know. You told me to shut up.
Oh, suck it. Whatever. She's such a jackass. Kids meals?
Cuisine.
Kids cuisine. Oh, you guys, she gave me a look like she was disgusted that she had to tell me. But anyway.
Hi. Welcome back. Happy to have you.
We missed you. I know I say that every episode.
But we do. We miss you.
I genuinely like you guys. And I don't like a lot of people. But I do like my roommates. And if you're new here, I'm Abby.
I'm Bri.
And this is Rent Free Roommates.
Yay. Thanks for coming.
We always love to have you in new company.
Yeah. And if you're coming back, especially love to see you.
Yeah.
Love some.
It means a lot. I think it means you've seen us for what we are. And you're like, I like that. Yeah. I like that. And so I like you.
It means a lot.
Because Bri and I have always wondered if we're as funny to other people or as likable and relatable as we find ourselves to each other.
Yep.
So if you're still here, it means we're probably right.
That's something, right?
We've got some stuff.
Yeah.
We've got something. But if you're new, you're still getting to know us. But I think you'll like what you see.
I hope so. And if you do, you can subscribe so that you don't miss us.
Yeah. Or if you don't, but you know somebody who does, you can always tell them about us. We are on all social media platforms. Mm-hmm. We always got to let you know.
Yeah. Rent-free roommates everywhere, except for Twitter.
Except for Twitter, because it was, what'd you say? Too long?
Too
long. Short. Too long.
Too long.
Shoot.
Rent-free roomies.
Roomy zoomies. I said that last time, but I like it. It's like I'm triggered to say that. But anyway, also, a lot of what this podcast is treating you like the wonderful roomie that you are, which means we love to listen to your life. We love to celebrate with you. And if you guys have anything that you want us to talk or celebrate with or just listen to, you can email us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com.
Yes, send us your emails. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, and we know that you want our unfiltered advice.
How are we going to keep up on your life if you don't email us?
Yeah, I need to know. I'm very, very nosy. I'm definitely that, I'm that nosy neighbor.
Yes.
I gotta know.
Forever one of my favorite videos that I have of Abby is I am fully behind her and she is on the other couch in the windows, practically through the window, just like looking through the blinds. And I'm like, what did you say? And you said, I just like to stay out of people's business.
Yeah. I just like to mind my business.
And she's not even looking at me.
I don't know why people are always in other people's business. Like, geez, get a life. As my forehead is touching the glass. But I'm going to let you know, one thing about me is I love the drama, but don't involve me. I am definitely watching from afar and I'm like, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Enunciate.
And they're going to be like, what'd you say? I'm going to be like, he said that he doesn't love you and he's seeing your mom.
Suddenly we're on Jerry Springer.
But that's the kind of drama I like to see. And then I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. I got to go to work though. But I hope you guys figure it out. Thank you for letting me know though. So yeah, I love to do that. And I love to give advice too.
Solicited or not.
Yeah. And if you wanted to do it, you can always do it here.
Please do. So that we don't have to involve ourselves in the fights happening outside our window.
Yeah, I think it's safer if you guys just email. You guys make my life a lot safer. Because I'm going to let you know, I'm still, doesn't matter who you are. I'm like, what are you doing? But I mind my business still. I have a good...
Mind your business.
I have a good in-between of mind my business, but what's going on.
Okay.
She said that's debatable, but she said that's definitely one way to see it.
I support it because then you come tell me and I'm like,
I do, but you guys want to know something? I have this friend and I don't even live in my hometown anymore, but I still know what happens just because people will like casually tell me too. And I'm like, clocked it, got it. I know.
oh yeah, that's my favorite part of growing up is keeping tabs on the people that you haven't spoken to in over 10 years. Where just because I see
Oh my God, it's like a
pregnancy announcement, I'm like, oh my God, did you hear that? Or did you know that blah, blah, blah is having a baby?
it's like a who did it kind of thing for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's figure out more.
Oh yeah. No, I love hearing about
But
it.
please don't talk to me if you see me in the same hometown. Just kidding.
Yeah, also when I am home and then I go to the Jewels and I don't want to see anybody.
Why
I'm
do
like,
you-
please don't.
Did you just say the Jewels?
I did just say
Why do people do that? Why do people say the in the name? It drives me insane.
I'm from Chicago.
My coworker does that though. She goes the Applebee's or the Olive Garden, and I'm like, why are you saying the?
I actually don't think I've told you this story. My older sister used to call it Franchum. Because
I don't get it.
you wouldn't, because
Oh,
but the old commercial was fresh to your family from Jewel. But it was, I guess they said it kind of fast because the
fresh to your family from Joe.
the from Jewel sounded like Franchum to her. So they were.
Is this Kaylee?
Yes. Her and my mom were like in the car and a Jewel truck like pulled up right next to him. She said, "Look, Ma, Franchum." I was like, what are you talking about? She said, "Fresh to your family, Franchum."
It's giving piano vibes.
But I love that was like one of my. I don't even think I was there. I don't think I existed yet.
You
but
just
it's
hear
one of
about
my
it?
favorite stories.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, speaking of stories, I think we've got some good ones today, some good write-ins, and I'm excited to talk about these ones. There's things that we've done in the recent years, or at least one of them is. So I feel like we should just get into it.
Okay,
All right,
I'm here for it.
let's do it. My mother feels I'm not ready to travel alone for a 3-day trip. I'm 21, planning to travel to DC with my younger sister that is 16. The trip is already planned out, and I've already bought tickets for a Greyhound and booked a hotel. But my mom feels that it's not safe to go on the trip and that I'm not ready to go on a trip with my sister at my age. Whenever I ask if she just wants me to get a refund for the trip and to just not go at all, she claims that she wants me to go, but she keeps saying that it's scary and it's too big of a city to travel. Either way, I'm taking the trip, but how do I give her the peace of mind that I can handle watching my sister out of state?
Great question.
Those are her babies. First off, you are her babies.
Yeah.
So I understand
Right.
her concern.
Yeah, we all know where it's coming from. She's just being a mom. But I think that
I like those ages.
it's oh yeah. I mean, you're 21, still young, especially 16. That, very young. But I think if you feel confident to travel with just you and your sister, that's great. I don't think I was that brave that young. I think I was still a big old chicken shit. I was way too afraid. I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know. My mom does all this stuff.
I don't know. I gotta ask my mom. I'm only 21.
As not your mom, but also your mom for this moment, hearing that you're doing it by Greyhound did make me a little nervous just because.
Did it?
Yeah, just because there's so many. I only know the bad stories.
Oh, okay. I guess I only know the good. I just did Greyhounds when I was I went on a lot of
Really?
not Greyhounds. Maybe I don't know what Greyhounds are to the full extent.
Like a megabus and like a Greyhound?
We took one to DC. I've done one to DC, but that was class.
Oh, yeah. No, I've done
So I know what they look like.
But no, I mean, it's like any other kind of public transportation. Take a city bus and then make that long distance. That's a lot of crazy people
That is true. But
that you're stuck with for a very long time.
that's very true. I wonder how close you are to DC as well. Obviously,
Yeah, that I would like to know.
that too, because
you don't owe me that information,
No.
but I just wish.
tell us right now. But I would also applaud you because you said that you planned the entirety of the trip. So at the
Yeah.
very least,
Good
it
for you.
sounds like you have a game plan. You know what you want to do. And I think that should be a good point to make to her about peace of mind is Because so I recently traveled on my first like international. It wasn't completely solo, but a lot of aspects of it were solo. I went to Barcelona this past summer with my friend who lives in New York. So we met up there in Barcelona for a music festival, and then we went to Lisbon together. But getting to Barcelona, I completely did alone with like layovers in France and all that nature, and was able to get there. And then my hostel was completely separate from where they were staying at. So it was, and my parents were not excited to hear that because, I mean, I am.
Neither was I.
Oh my gosh.
When she first told me she was staying in a hostel, I was like, oh, what?
She was like, how could you? How could you do that to me? But no, everybody was really scared. And like, to be honest, I was pretty scared too. So I kind of along the same lines as you. I mean, I'm 26 and my family was really stressed out. And I understand too, just like your mother. But I feel like the only way I could give my family peace of mind is I was like, I will definitely share my location with you when I know that I'm going to be out for like at night at later times or just in areas that may not be certain. And so I did that for her. And then I also would call and text when applicable. Mm-hmm. And just kind of check in with them as well. So I think, and like they knew that I was bringing precautions with me. So I bought a portable charger with me. So they knew that at the very least I would always have a phone connection with me. Mm-hmm. I made sure to do a fanny pack in Barcelona and carry all my necessities with me at all times. So like in the front, the fanny pack. So I was just always I was in control as much as I could be. And I feel like that gave them a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say sometimes, depending on your parents, could be a slippery slope of sharing location, because that was the first thing that came to mind for me too, of giving her that peace of mind, as long as you think mom can also handle that without badgering you for anything. But even when my sisters just go on dates, we're constantly sharing our location with each other, just because it's very important. But especially if you're going somewhere that it's your first time there, absolutely have somebody else that knows where you are. And I think exactly that, just kind of proof of receipts and just proof of that
plan.
That you know what you're doing and that you are thinking ahead to try to expect the unexpected in a way. And one thing I loved, I just almost a year ago, actually, last September, I went to Colorado, and that was kind of my first solo trip where it was just me. I did all the planning. Was staying alone and was staying in 2 different parts of Colorado. And I was in a hotel first and then an Airbnb. And at both places, I had a little like alarm that you kind of can put in the door. It's like these 2 little metal pegs that as long as they're touching, it doesn't make the alarm noise, but as soon as they separate, then it's the super loud alarm that goes off, just so if anybody's trying to get in your room. And use that for hotels and Airbnbs. It's
unfortunate that we have to, but I feel like especially being 2 young women traveling, I understand a lot of your mom's concern.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunately, it's not as safe of times as we'd hope they'd be. And because of that, we do have to prepare. It sucks, and it sucks that we have to be the ones to do it, but it is the reality of the situation. So I totally understand where she's coming from in that perspective. I would probably be very worried as well. I mean, like Bri and I say, we get, like, if we don't come home at expected times with each other, we're like, hey, are you coming home tonight? Like, what's up? Why aren't you here? When like at normal times that we would be expected. So it's really normal for people who care about you and love you to want to make sure that you're being safe. But it also sounds like she doesn't want to hinder you, because every time you bring up, should I just go ahead and get a refund? She doesn't tell you like, yes, go ahead and do it. I think she definitely has her hesitations, which I can understand and appreciate. But I like the fact that it doesn't sound like she's pestering you and annoying you. It's like what parents do when they're like, oh, you're going to Barcelona? Well, just so you know, a kid died there 6 weeks ago. It's 600 miles from you, but I thought you should know. That's just very stereotypical. They're just kind of doing what I feel like every parent does, but it sounds like she's not trying to prevent you.
Yeah, that's huge. I applaud mom for that. I'm glad that hasn't said like, oh, really, will you? That she wasn't just waiting for you to say, do you want me to cancel, so that she could say yes and feel better. But
right, and unless she's
kind of encouraging you, I think.
And also, unless they're gonna front the bill for that plane ticket, Greyhound bus is how we're going, unless they're throwing some money in there too. Because like I'm sure this is with within your means and what you can do and accomplish. But I'm also hoping, because I feel like now moving forward, if I go on any trips, as it just becomes normalized a bit more, that I'm definitely going to be trying to take, because I do want to go on a lot more trips.
Amount of concern.
It's to a healthy amount, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to always, I guess it's fair to always wanting to be share your location. I'm being a little bit dramatic, but I want to normalize more traveling solo as a young woman, because
I think I'm going to go well into adulthood still texting my parents when I land from like any plane.
that's
or
just
when I arrive
definitely the stubbornness in me, and like that I can do it all. I feel like in me of like, don't, I can do it, because I'm tiny. I'm like Joe Pesci, you guys. That's how I feel. I just need to prove that I'm a wise guy and like a tough guy, and I'm like, you, fuck you, I'll do it. And it's like, oh my God, I just want to make sure you got through the fucking door, dude.
And that's one of those unfortunate things that we have to take into consideration too, that not only are you a woman alone, in Abby's case, she's also a short woman alone. And that just makes her even more of a target, which fucking sucks. And that's stupid. But there's so much thought that goes into it.
I mean,
But
fuck
she's a
around
smart
and find
girl.
out, you guys, though, because I am really strong too.
Yeah. She
Scary.
is.
But this isn't about me. This is about you.
Yes. And I think as long, maybe even if you feel your mom needs like this level of reassurance, if she'll feel better if you guys kind of make a schedule of sorts. It can be kind of a rough schedule, but just like a check-in schedule, so that at this time of day, you'll check in each day, you or your sister
Has an idea of what you're doing at the very least. Or maybe like if you're going on, I would say even
itinerary.
Yeah, excursions, like the numbers for that, just because again, it sucks, but you kind of have to go above and beyond and being careful these days. It's just the true reality. So maybe giving her, the names of the places you're going, what you've rented. If you've rented a car, here's the license plate. Here's where you got it from.
Yeah.
Anything that'll just like, I feel like pinpoint you somewhere too.
Yeah. Because as much as it's...
I feel like I'm probably scaring you, but this is the preparedness in my mind.
That's what I was going to say too, is as much as it's reassuring your mom, it's also just being smart. And, God forbid the unthinkable happens. There's so like an infinite amount of unthinkable that now you're prepared. You have people that knew all those things, and it helps in those situations. I think it was one of the podcasts that I listened to. There was a story about a girl, and she had got the idea from somewhere, like a documentary or something, to have this thing in like basically a slip of paper in her wallet that just kind of has all of the important information, your password for your phone, where you're from, where you live, your phone number, your like emergency contacts, if you have any medication that you take or that you need, or any allergies, just kind of this like a little emergency thing that she keeps with her at all times, whether she's traveling or just even at home, because she was also somebody who lived in a city. And also people, friends or family that know kind of like an emergency plan. And it sounds so maybe over dramatic to some people, but the more I listened to it, I was like, God, that's so smart. Because then continuing after that was a story of when that came into effect and when that was a helpful thing to have. So it could feel a little bit over dramatic, but truly in this day and age, it is not a bad thing to have as many
you can
people.
never be too careful.
Yeah, just having as many people that know where you are or what the plan is as possible is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely can't let that fear hinder you and stop and prevent you from going and seeing and experiencing things, especially if that's what you want to do.
100%. No, I'm very happy that you're taking this trip and taking your sister with you at 16. Like, that's so cool. I wish my sisters and I did stuff like that when we were younger. And, more power to you. I'm so glad that you're trying to take this trip and that you trust yourself and are confident in yourself to take this trip. And, just trying to reassure mom.
It teaches you a lot about yourself, too.
A good mom.
And I feel like your mom will see, too, how well you can take care of yourself. And I think it'll hopefully show you in another light as well of like, I can handle this amount of responsibility. I know what to do, but I know how to still have a good time and be able to look after somebody who's younger than you too. It's going to be really fun for you guys.
The first one will be the roughest for mom. She's going to be very, very nervous. But I think, after you guys have this successful trip, that's the hard part's over.
Yeah. Trust yourself too. Speak with confidence to her too. Like, Mom, I've got this and this is what we're going to do. So I mean, I totally understand the worry, but here's the game plan I have in mind. Or maybe even just ask her herself, is like, is there anything I can do to ease your worry? Because we are going to go on this trip. It's already booked. The money's spent. I can't do X, Y, and Z, but what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And maybe she'll be able to provide. And maybe then by the time you leave, she'll be able to have a little bit more peace of mind and actually be able to be excited for you too. But yeah, it's probably definitely a shock for her because it's not one kid, it's two.
Yeah.
And so that's just like even more of a stressor on top of that. But she needs to understand that, you know, this is good for growth as well and getting your kids ready for the real world when you're not always going to be there as well.
Right. Just showing her, like, you taught me how to be confident in myself and how to be independent.
Oh,
now let me show you
what I can do.
You know? Yeah.
DC's fun too. And I personally, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I didn't have a negative experience in DC. It's really fun and there's a lot to see.
But it is still a city. You know, it's the same thing as anything. Every city, even town, like small town, it doesn't matter where you are. Just always be aware of your surroundings. Just be aware.
I mean, you can never be too careful.
It doesn't matter where you are, but I know that DC also, it is a city, so don't get too comfortable, but also still have fun.
Are you confused? No, like we were saying, a healthy amount of caution and a lot of fun. Though.
Yes.
More fun than
Way
fear and caution. Well, more fun than fear to have caution.
Yes.
But yeah, I would talk to your mom and see if there's anything you can do that would help ease her worry. Like I said, whether it's that sharing of the location, check-ins, itineraries, pictures or it didn't happen. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to check in. Actually, it was so cute. My parents did that all through their whole trip when they went to Ireland and England just beginning of summer. And that's a great way to check in because not only are you checking in showing like, hey, look, I'm alive, but also look what I'm doing. So yeah, if that's something that's going to make her feel better, then definitely, I think, yeah.
I am excited for you though.
Yeah.
And
have so much fun.
Yeah, there's a ton of cool shit to see. Monuments, pretty cool. I like the Lincoln Monument. This guy sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
I say guy like he wasn't.
Like it's not Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. I was like, it's just a guy.
Some dude in a chair.
He's looking at water.
He figured it out.
Yeah. He said, you can do a monument, but I will be comfortable while you make it. That much is true.
Anyway, so much fun. We wish you all the best. I hope have safe travels.
Hope it's the first of many.
Yeah, especially a sister trip. I love that.
Though it'll be a good time. I'm really excited. It's a good bonding time too. But yeah, definitely the first of many. And we are manifesting nothing but good thoughts and experiences for you. And peace of mind for the mom.
If you guys are going on a trip.
Oh my God. Are you going on a trip?
Where are you going? Let us know. But I mean, also, if anybody's dealing with family stuff or has any questions or wants to tell us more about their trips, because Lord knows.
Yeah, are you solo traveling?
Yeah.
Give us tips.
Yeah.
Especially international. I really want to do more of those.
Yeah. But write us. You can write us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com.
Yes, you can. You're damn right you can. In need of reassurance. I feel like every time I'm not doing great, at the moment I've got COVID and have to quarantine and I'm struggling with lack of socializing. I come back to this feeling that deep down, no one really likes me that much. I have loads of friends and I'm always busy, but I feel like I don't have as meaningful connections with others as everyone else seems to have. I wanted to know if others feel this way, where you might think it comes from, and if there's any truth in it, or am I just getting in my head? It probably seems silly that I can't tell for myself, but even though I imagine it's probably just a bad thought pattern, I can't help but feel like it's true. I end up thinking negatively about all my relationships like they're not really real, and I don't know how to stop it. Sometimes it takes me a while of feeling badly about a relationship before I get to the bottom of it and realize that this same thought pattern has popped up again.
That's the important part, is to realize that it's happened before and that you've caught yourself in the past doing this. I can totally relate. I know I think to my sisters, maybe I've even said to you before, that sometimes I feel like I have friends that I'm more of a fan of than their friend, where it feels like I love them so fucking much. I have that doubt. I think it's kind of a form of imposter syndrome where you just doubt that this person is as much your friend as you are theirs. And I don't know where that comes from. It sucks. It's not a fun thing to go through.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time it's not true. They also love you. Maybe in those moments of doubt, I think there's probably a conversation you can have of if it feels like you're not getting anything, I think let that be known to a friend. If you feel like you're always the one making the plans or anything of that nature, that deserves to be brought up, to feel like, I feel like you don't really want to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And it probably will be met with, what? Of course I do. But they don't know that you're feeling that way. Kind of like we've talked about in the past of love languages, that also applies to friendships. And if you don't feel like you're getting the affection from in any type of relationship, it's worth bringing up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think the important thing to notice here, too, is that you did mention that you were in quarantine and had COVID, and being alone with your thoughts, especially during pandemic period, was a very slippery slope and a scary time. Oh, yeah. It did crazy things to our emotions. I was at my parents' for the first part of the pandemic and then came back to Bri and our other roommate.
I forgot about this.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm going to say. And I was so caught up and just like wasn't in a good place. The pandemic was really getting to me, and it felt like Bri and our other roommate were just on like such a wavelength and connecting, and I felt like such an odd man out that I literally left the apartment and just went on a drive because I was so upset because I just was like, they don't want me here, and that's crazy. This is my house. And I came back and I was like ready to battle. It was great. And I was like, is there a problem? Like, what? This is where the Joe Pesci comes out in me. And I was like, you got a problem? And that was poor communication. I'm in a much better place since then, and I feel like I communicate a lot better. But I was literally ready to be like, I was like, what's your guys' deal? Because I feel really left out. What did I do? And they were completely blindsided. They were like, I am so sorry. We didn't know we had made you feel that way, and we're so happy to see you and be back. We think it's just because we've only seen each other the past 6 weeks. So it was a total perspective thing for me too, where I had these very negative thoughts and I was definitely letting them win and get the better part of me. And then when I sat down, had the conversation and kind of addressed it head on and was able to begin to rationalize it, I realized that that was a lot of my own projecting going on to them and thoughts that weren't really there. So I think you need to give yourself some grace too, because that amount of time with yourself can make you do some crazy things, especially if you're not in a good place too. And I'm happy that you were able to acknowledge that you saw a pattern of this, because that is literally all the better. At the very least, now you're able to pinpoint what this negative thought looks like, or what it looks like for you and how it makes you spiral. And hopefully you can begin to, like I said, rationalize if this is an actual thought or an intrusive one, or, you know, something just trying to make you think something is more than what it is. And that hopefully that'll help you be able to understand a situation for its reality.
Yeah. And don't beat yourself up for those kinds of thoughts kind of taking over, because
they do, and they will
grow and fester so fast. You can lose control of those types of thoughts so fast, and it's not fair that you just like it. Sometimes it even feels like you can see it happening and you can't stop it. Like,
my gosh.
It sucks, and it's just on depression.
And that's on depression.
Yeah. And it is not easy to deal with. It is a lot to work through. And especially because a good majority of it can be us kind of getting in our own ways. And it's so much easier to blame somebody else, to be like, this person made me feel this way. And sometimes it is, you know, some people may be doing things to make you feel a certain way. Your feelings are valid, but absolutely, I think the fact that you've been in isolation for so long, it gives way too much time for those intrusive thoughts.
Oh, yeah, because you have nothing entertaining your mind after a while. So your mind begins to, like, idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah.
So
It's so scary what isolation can do to people because we're meant to have interaction.
yeah, and be able to distract our minds at the, because you're exercising your mind too. It's really an unhealthy mindset that's happening right here. But being able to understand, like I said, when that's happening is really important. Bri, I've even talked to Bri about that before, where I'm like, I'll usually word it like, I've been having these really bad thoughts, but I think it's because of this, or I know this usually happens around X, Y, and Z. And she's like, that's really amazing that you're able to know what that means so that you can help combat those negative thoughts and be like, hold up, am I really feeling this way? Or am I just PMSing? Or is, the sun setting earlier than usual throwing me off? Or is it because I haven't been active in a while? Is it really that? But also another thing that I love to do is when I have those negative thoughts, like I've said in the past, I have started to ask myself, who is telling me this, or what has been said or done to validate this feeling? And if I can't come up with anything or something that's even remotely makes sense, I'm like, okay, so that's just me getting a little bit more in my head. It takes a while to get there, but I think it's a really healthy place to start by sitting down and being like, who's telling me that my friends aren't friends with me? What is telling me? What behaviors do they do that make me feel this way? And what do I have to back up this thought? And if you can't come up with anything, it's likely just more so in your head. It's unfortunate, but hopefully those maybe like techniques going forward can be of some assistance.
Yeah. And like we've mentioned in the past, journaling, to writing them down to get them out.
I don't do it as consistently as I would like to, but when I do journal, I feel amazing afterwards, and I especially feel amazing after I meditate. It took me a really long time to get into it and get into it consistently, but I really get to a place where I'm fully able to relax my body, and I just feel so rejuvenated afterwards. And you do feel really good because, especially with the ones that I do, they make you do mantras. I've talked about, I really like the ones that give you mantras for the day to go by, because it's something that I do actually find myself going back to. Like one of them is saying, like, I just accept life for what it is, like the ebb and the flow of it, basically, and that I can't control it. I can only but I choose my response to it. So that's been really helpful and helped me really look at situations a lot differently too. Like, am I really going to let this person who said all these nasty things to me on the phone be what dictates how my day goes?
Yeah.
Easier said than done. It took me a while to get there, but now that I'm able to get there a little bit quicker and easier, it really does make all the difference. So I truly would recommend looking into some of those techniques as well and seeing which one sticks and makes the most sense for you.
Yeah. My younger sister and I have talked a lot lately about kind of flipping the perspective. I think sometimes we can get so caught up in looking at this, at whatever situation in this one way that we've kind of been hyper fixating on. And it's kind of like what you were saying, just kind of break that apart and flip the script. And she also mentioned that she, in the morning, or you really didn't do it any time of day, but she's tried to start her day by saying out loud, even to herself, at least 3 things that she's grateful for, just kind of gratitude things.
Yes.
And things like that, like when you started meditating too, I'm sure can feel really goofy at first. Like you feel really weird, but literally it's just you. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel doing it. And truly saying any positive things, especially starting your day that way, really will have a change on your perspective, I think, for the day.
100%. Your self-talk too.
Yeah, it is so, and I really have to work on all of this, believe me. She was telling me
She's a knucklehead.
And telling me,
oh my God,
start doing this for yourself because it's going to help you. It's hard to start doing it, but once you make it kind of part of your routine, it really does help, because it's way too easy to focus on the negative, and for whatever reason, that's our default.
I like that your sister does 3 positive things in the morning, and I wonder if it would be helpful to do 3 positive things at night too. So you're always kind of starting and ending your day on a positive note. And
like things that happened within the day
yeah,
that you
so
appreciate or that you...
no matter what, you can always kind of find the good in something. Because you're going to have bad days for sure. Give yourself, though, time when it is bad to let yourself feel those emotions. Because there have been times, let me tell you, where I've just like screamed in my car.
Oh, yeah.
After something really frustrating that happened, because it's still not good to, oh my God.
My car has seen me at my worst. It has seen me angry, screaming,
God. Like that,
crying.
When I feel really bad, or if I'm not doing more something, like on the weekends, if I slept in later than usual or something, I'm like, I deserve this sleep. I worked hard this week. It's okay that happened. And Bri made a great point once that one time I was upset I didn't get everything done as early as I wanted to. And she's like, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when you do it. Go easy on yourself. She's like, you're getting it done though, and that's the important part. It doesn't matter when it happened though. And that I was like, you're totally right. Like, at least I'm doing it.
Right. We beat ourselves up so much even while we're still getting done what we want to get done. Or why is it so easy to beat ourselves up?
You're your biggest critic too. Remember that. Like, nobody's going to be meaner to you than you. So maybe kind of take that with a grain of salt too.
And is this communication, or is anything that's making you feel like your friends aren't as good of friends, or like that you...
Yeah, are they making you feel that way? Like, understand that too. Is it just a thought that you're having, or are they genuinely... And that's, again, why I say look at the situation. Like, are they saying or doing something that's making you feel this way? Because if so, that's validated. Feel how you need to feel and assess the situation from there. But if this is maybe something where, like the instance that I talked about with me and Bri and our other roommate, it could just be in your head, in which case it's great to sit down and talk about it and then decompress. Because I left, but I mean, like I said, I have better communication style now, but I left because I was actually a lot more upset and I didn't know how to talk about it because I was going to let it fester. But then I came back and I was like, I have to address it. The way I addressed it wasn't the most amazing. I shouldn't have been so confrontational, but I was still working with myself.
Well, and it's scary when you feel like your friends or these people that you think that you're so close to, you suddenly start feeling like you start doubting all of that stuff. And it's a scary feeling. So it's completely normal to be defensive or to be kind of elevated in that moment. And you're also being a little hard on yourself. It wasn't that bad. It was scary, and in the way of, oh my God, what did we do to make her feel this way? And it broke my heart. But you talked about it, and also giving yourself that space and like leaving before you came to talk about it, I think is also a good thing for anybody. If you do get elevated, give your space and time to kind of de-escalate until you feel like you can talk about it in a rational way. And I was also going to say, is any of this coming from like solely text conversations while you've been in isolation or anything like that? Because that's also the easiest thing to do, is completely take just text communication the wrong way. I don't know why we still do that to ourselves.
It's so easy though to interpret, especially if you don't know their communication styles too with that. Yeah. It's so easy to misinterpret stuff over text, but also know that there is help out there too. It's not uncommon for people to also feel the way that you do. I mean, obviously, listening to Bri and I, you know that we've had similar thoughts and experiences.
Oh, yeah.
And we've both have, I sought out help. Bri has sought out help. It's totally normal. And if that's something that you think might work for you too, totally look into it as well. Because it's always great to have a second pair of ears, especially from a professional who can help you understand. I mean, Bri and I give great advice. Do not get me wrong, but we are not licensed professionals.
Right.
And if you do need somebody who's got a better understanding, that's definitely something I would recommend looking into as well, because it's a very healthy outlet and it might help you understand yourself a little bit better and come up with better techniques to address this moving forward and maybe hopefully eliminate this altogether.
Yeah, especially now that you've recognized, like we said, that you said, it's a pattern.
Yeah.
You're recognizing that it keeps happening. Having a professional to help you kind of unpack that and figure out why it is that keeps happening and how to kind of stop it in its tracks,
that's a great resource to have. I am such an advocate for therapy, and I almost went into it. That was almost my job. And I think that's why I just love talking to people and trying to help. But like we said, we are not professionals, so don't be afraid to seek it out. And we can also sympathize that unfortunately in America it is not an easy process.
No, I say that like you can just go walk in, but if you find somebody, let me know, because it is hard.
And it's a defeating process. I will be completely transparent. Trying to find it, especially if you're trying to do it on your own and you're just working off whatever insurance you have, it's a defeating process. But please trust that once you find it, it is so worth all the work that went into it, and the first person that you get doesn't have to be, it's kind of like dating. It doesn't have to be the one. You find the good fit for you that makes you feel heard and seen and comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't force yourself into any working relationship with a therapist that just because they're the first ones that you found.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of resources out there.
That's one of many.
Yeah, it is work, unfortunately, to find it, but it is worth it. I promise you. And we are huge advocates for that.
Either way, we do hope that a little bit of what we talked about today helped you, maybe give you a new perspective or a way to look at anything. At the very least, maybe new resources to look into. But we definitely hope that we were able to maybe provide a little bit of light for you.
Yeah, a little bit of insight. You are not alone in these feelings. They are not odd or strange. You are not weird for feeling these things. The brain is fascinating and scary all at the same time.
She's a motherfucker. That much is true.
Very powerful thing, and
can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yeah.
But it's something that you got to work on. It's another relationship because it's your relationship with yourself.
For sure.
So definitely know that you're worth that time too.
Absolutely.
And same goes for anybody else who's listening. But we definitely wish you all the best and hope that things only go up from here.
Yeah. Hope you feel better too.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Speedy recovery.
Sucks.
Yeah, it fucking does.
Fun.
But
and cabin fever is a bitch.
Scary movie too. It's a nasty movie more than anything. I don't recommend it if you have a weak stomach.
I don't think it. No,
you haven't seen it.
No, definitely not. If it's a gory one.
If
it's
icky. But anyway.
If you guys have anything you want to discuss with us or questions, stories, we would love to hear some stories too. Funny, scary, anything. Yeah. All of the above.
Especially as we get closer towards spooky season. Mm-hmm. I love to hear anything scary, maybe what you've been watching, seeing any spooky encounters.
Yes.
Send them my way. The spookier, the better. But also, like we said, if you have anything you want to talk about, even if we've talked about it before, we talk about things a million times that have happened to us.
Yeah.
So don't let that be a hesitation either. Or if you know somebody who you might think could benefit from being provided with Bri and I's wonderful unlicensed advice.
Yeah.
Send them our way.
Definitely. Email us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. Specifically for, actually the last month of September, we do want to do some roommate stories. So if you have any quite literal horror stories of some scary or just intense roommates, let us know. Email us at, again, rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. Please let us know. We really want to get into some of that. So if you have anything like that to share with us or have any friends that they have some crazy stories, send them our way because we want to hear them and we want to talk.
Or spooky stories about your town.
Yeah.
We want to give you guys, you're going to have to actually listen and just tell us spooky stories about your town and we'll do the rest, okay?
But yeah, we're going to get, obviously the two of us are going to get very, very into October. So we're excited. Get excited. But still also always here to just be a listening ear and give advice, whatever it may be. Thank you so much for joining us and coming back if you are a repeat listener, and for joining us for the first time. If this is your first one you're listening to, we love having you. You are one of our roommates now forever.
Yeah, we're bonded.
And make sure that you don't miss any episodes. You can subscribe to anywhere that you can find podcasts, that you can find us. Mm-hmm. We are everywhere: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon. virtually anywhere.
We're also on all social media platforms too. Literally.
Yes.
We don't have a Snapchat because we're not 12, but...
I still use Snapchat.
Oh, shit. We're going to cut that. That was rude. What do you
If anything, I would assume it's an old person thing.
You do use Snapchat a lot, now that I'm talking about it. Anyway, we're not on there, so... But Bri is. But no, you can find us on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You can find us on Instagram. Mm-hmm. You can find us on Facebook.
Do it.
You can look out your window. I'm there. No. But we hope to God to see you again. For the love of God, please press the play button once more. But no, we can't wait to see you guys next week. And stay tuned for what's coming.
Bye.
Bye.